Alright, so what I want to do here today is do a quick review on the comparison of two different guns. Okay, first of all, let's check them. There's nothing in there. Pull the trigger. Alright, so this right here is a Glock 23 Gen 4 40 caliber. It's a medium-sized handgun. You know, it's not too big. It's a little hard to conceal on me because I'm smaller, but it's not a horribly big handgun. I use this for my primary. I've installed a laser on it. You can see that. Alright, so I'm comparing this Glock 23 to my newest addition to my collection, which is the Sig Sauer p238 380 single action auto. It's clear as well. Okay. If you don't know the difference between the two, as you can see, the 40 caliber is slightly bigger, obviously, but I have to say, for the Sig Sauer, you know, I bought this one used, so it already had some rounds put through it before I got a hold of it. It seems to be a fairly decent gun. I've noticed if I'm shooting rather quickly, you know, 6, 7, or, you know, 5 or 6 at a time, about the fourth one, you do have to pull a little bit harder to make the hammer snap back, which is kind of frustrating. But if you don't hit someone with the first 4 bullets, you probably don't need to have a gun anyway. Alright, so this one is the Rosewood edition. It has the very nice rosewood grips on it. I like it better than the two-tone with the silver and the black. It has a nitron coating. I've learned that it can fairly easily get scratched, but still a reliable gun. I wouldn't make this my primary carry for any means. It's fairly inaccurate. I was shooting this particular gun about 10-15 yards or so, and it was extremely inaccurate. It would shoot about a foot up to the right, which is very, very bad. So I'm going to do some work on it and see if we can't get that resolved. But let's talk about some safety features on this gun. First of all, it's a 1911 style gun, which if you've watched anything on a Sig Sauer, you obviously know it's 1911. So we've got, you know, one of the things here, one of the safeties is when you pull it back, you load the gun, then you have the safety go up here just like on a 1911, and you can't pull the trigger. So when you want to pull the trigger, you just pop that down and pull the trigger. Okay. The next safety feature that a lot of people may miss is once it's loaded or it's cocked and you want to unload it. Let's say that you are, when you're putting it down, you have a hold of it, you know, you don't want to drop it. If you pull the trigger to let it go, but you let go of the trigger and you drop it like that, you're not going to shoot yourself or someone around you. It actually doesn't hit. So you're not going to accidentally fire this gun. This gun is only going to be fired when it's actually meant to be fired. It's kind of a pain to get stripped down because you have to line everything up right here. And when you're lining everything up, you have to push this through. It's just a pain. Well, with the Glock, as you may know, the safety features are all internal. It doesn't have any external safety, so you do have the safety trigger where you do have to have your finger on the trigger before it will pull. Also, one of the things about it is you do not have to have the magazine in for it to fire. Okay, so that is a little bit different than some guns. You do have to have magazines, you know, locked in before it will fire, which is a safety feature. But we've got this. One of the biggest safety features is if you drop the gun, it's not going to shoot, which is one of the primary things. I can tell you I was shooting this gun up to about 60 yards, and I would have a very nice small grouping. So it's a lot more accurate than the 380. Okay, definitely a lot more accurate. So I can't complain about the Glock. The Glock also can have multiple things done to it. You can interchange the barrel and magazine for another caliber like 357 or 9mm, which is a plus. That way you don't have to go buy 3 different guns to shoot your ammo. You just have to spend $125 on a barrel. Also, there are a lot of exchanging parts on the inside. I know you can get this little firing pin thing that allows it to be fired underwater. I don't know what you would need that for, but you can get it if you want to. Also, there's a lot of extended mags and a lot of universal parts for the Glock family, as there is. So you can get a lot of individual parts, that are made for another gun that will fit for this one. And they're not actually made for another gun, they're just generally made for Glock, and they will fit the Glock 23. Right now, going market on a Glock 23 without the laser, just this is a Gen 4, so it's the newest one. And let me show you a little bit about the inside of the Gen 4 that's different from the Gen 3. And that is this little piece right here. This right here is a dual action spring. You see it has a spring on the outside as well as it has a spring that goes up in the middle. So it is a very big improvement from the Glock Generation 3, where it just had the single spring. I'm not a big fan of the recoil spring on this one. I'm not going to take it apart though. It's long and it comes off with the guide rod and everything like that, so it's not a big fan of it. I know they had a recall on some of their springs, unless you have the flat wire spring now. But with the Glock, it's fairly easy to field strip, as you just saw. Take the barrel out, put it back in, and you can just pop it on there. Now, something that's different from the Sig Sauer and the Glock is the ejector. The ejector on the Sig Sauer does pop up when it's stripped down. The ejector on the Glock does not, so you can pull it straight back, and you don't have to worry about not breaking your ejector. Which is another reason I want to take it apart. One thing I do like about the Sig Sauer is it has grips, so you can interchange it and customize your gun with certain grips. The Glock you cannot customize color-wise or anything like that. It does not have grips, so you cannot do any of that. Now, obviously, today's going market with the whole firearm ban threat thing. The Glock is probably going to run you, if you don't buy it from a dealer, because you're not going to find it from a dealer very often, probably from an individual anywhere between $700 and $800. The Glock 23 40 caliber, that is. Okay, the Glock 27 being slightly less than that, and the Glock 22 being around the medium range. If you find it from a dealer, you can generally get it for around $560, but the problem is finding a dealer that has any in stock. I think Glock is actually on 1-year back order right now on Glocks. So you would have to, really get lucky with finding one of these from a dealer. Pawn shops and stuff are going to take advantage of the inflation on these. The Sig Sauer, very reliable gun for a girlfriend, wife to have. I carry it in my pocket. It comes with its own nice little holster. This one used, I paid $5.99 for it. If you are good friends with a federal or FFL licensed dealer, you should be able to get one for around $500 to $525. That is at their cost. So if you're good friends with them, if they're not willing to make any money. If you're going to buy a new one, you're going to be looking around $629 to $709 plus tax. I saw one, for $749 plus tax, and it was the one with the laser on it, which I don't really care for that one very much. But it does have the laser that comes right here. I like this one better. So as soon as I saw it, I knew it was going to be mine. It does have the night sights on it. This one being used, my left night sight has gone out, so I'm working on getting that fixed. So, overall, the only thing better about the Sig Sauer over the Glock is it's more concealable. Besides that, the Glock is a lot more reliable. The Glock is going to fire more. It's not a hammer gun. You don't have to worry about the failures there. It's an internal firing pin, so you don't have to worry about failures and everything like that. So if you're wanting a reliable gun, yes, the Glock is the one for you. If you're wanting a concealing gun, the Sig Sauer p238, you couldn't ask for a better one. Okay, so always go with something at least a 9mm or 380. Don't go any smaller than that. Don't carry a 22. It's just not going to do any damage. It's just not good for carry. It's kind of pointless to carry a smaller caliber like that. This is a 40 caliber, so it is fairly large. That's what I like about it. Alright guys, well,